through you and me has harmony.
Here we go.
I am enough. I'm made of God's stuff. I go with the flow, and God lets me know that the balance of life is a dance of love. Though good may seem far, it's near as you are. Though bad may be here, it will disappear. In the middle of this, I have found bliss. Through you and me as harmony. I am enough. I'm made of God's stuff. I go with the flow, and God lets me know that the balance of life is the dance of love. Whenever I fail, God fills my sails. And when I succeed, it's not only me, it's the limitless life that makes it all right. Through you and me as harmony. I am enough. I'm made of God's stuff. I go with the flow, and God lets me know that the balance of life is the dance of love. I am enough. I'm made of God's stuff. I go with the flow, and God lets me know that the balance of life is the dance of love.
All right. You guys sound great. All right. Let's stand for the next one. I like this one. Like that. Yeah. Here we go.
I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am.
Now take some time to say hello to the people around you.
this world. I am as love created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as love created me. I am a light in this world. I am as love created me. I am.
energy in this room? Isn't it great? You are the light. You are the light. You know, the first song that they sing is I Am Enough. I love that song. Because when I'm feeling like this, I'll just sing that song. We are enough. Just as we are in this moment. Because there's nothing that needs to be added to you. You are already spiritual beings. It doesn't matter if you go to more retreats, more church services, more meditations. It doesn't matter, but we'd like you to be here, of course, yes. It doesn't matter. You're a spiritual being, and that's who you are. Own it. That's you. My name is Judy Chapman, and I am your assistant minister here at the center, and I'm so blessed. I'm so delighted to see each and every one of you here this morning. I missed you last week. Mom and I went to the desert. It was hot. We melted, but we went to the Palm Desert Church. That it's called the Spiritual Center of Palm Desert now. And I want to share with you their mission statement, and it was just lovely. And I loved going to different spiritual centers and hearing what they have to say and seeing how they do church, do center, and it was great. So their mission, the Palm Desert Spiritual Center mission, we are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time. So I really like, they've had that one for a while. So it was really wonderful to be there and see Dr. Laurel Shackelford is now the minister there with Reverend Dr. Dale. And anyway, it was great. We had a great time. But whoever you are, whatever journey you're on, whatever spiritual path you've decided to take, you are welcome here. Because we are a trans-denominational center, and we love you, accept you, and we respect all cultures and all walks of faith. So welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. Welcome. Okay, so we start our service every Sunday with the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence that we call spirit. Fundamental to truth today, we honor it all today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring that Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and the path of peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner Paula Manis lights that last candle, let it represent the path that brought you to this service today. And now please join me for 2 minutes of sacred silence.
This morning, please join me in knowing that there is only one power in the universe. It's not the president of any country. It's not the ruler of any country. It is the sublime goodness that runs through every person in the world, and it cannot be diminished. It's always there. It will be with us forever, into eternity and beyond. And it's very comforting to know that nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible to this power that I choose to call God, known by thousands of names, still the only power there is. And in times where we are a little bit shaken about what's happening in the world, we just turn back to that truth because it will never change. And we take a moment, we take a breath, and we thank God for the fact that we are here in this beautiful country and freedom reigns. There is a reason why God runs through everything in this country. Everything that we stand for is peace, love, acceptance, beauty, and that is the reason that whoever is in power cannot diminish equity and inclusion. It is God-given, and it will go through eternity. So you do not have to worry. You do not have to be fearful, because we have all of the power inside of us, as long as we know it's for good and good only. So let's give great thanks for what we have in this country, and let's give prayer to the people in other nations who are fighting for their freedom. It is God-given. I don't believe it can ever be taken away. Even when we cannot see it, it's right there in front of us. So I ask each and every person to consider this week, what can you do in your own right, collectively, individually, to further this truth in the world? I know you will know what it is, and I know you will execute it. So thank you for this beautiful center, for that beautiful soul. Oh, that beautiful soul Sunday we had last Sunday. We are so blessed. And please join me in forgiveness and releasing this with faith and gratitude and love into the law where it has already happened. Please join me by saying, and so it is. Okay, our global vision at this center is extraordinary. Well, all centers, actually. So please join me in reciting it, or at least part of it. A world that works for all, where humanity awakens to its spiritual magnificence, where forgiveness is the norm, where resources are valued, cared for, and shared, and where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all. And please now our affirmation. I embody my authentic self. So it is.
Thank you so much, Paula. Our guest vocalist today is new to us. It's his first time here, and we're so very excited. So give him a warm welcome, Mark Wood. Welcome.
Let's see. Let me get comfortable. Won't take long. There we go. Sorry. There we go. So it's nice to be here. I want to do some songs for the fathers out there. And several years ago, I was going to perform at the Center for Spiritual Living in Newport Mesa for Dr. Jim. And he said, Mark, would you write a song for Father's Day? And I said, well, Jim, of course I will. I would love to do that. And then Saturday night before the service, this was a month or two before, I got home and I went, oh my gosh, I forgot to write a song for Father's Day. I'm busy, you know. So I went to bed, and I was getting ready to go to bed, and I affirmed that I would write the song in my sleep. And I have done this before. So I went to bed, and at 5:30 in the morning, I woke up as I was dreaming of performing this song on stage. And I got up, and I wrote the chart, and I wrote the lead line, I wrote the words, and then I took it into the band. And when I got there in the morning, and they said, what's it sound like? And I go, I don't remember. Let's just read it down. And we did. And when I got done singing it after the service, I thought, God, I think I just stole a song from Merle Haggard. And I listened to every Merle Haggard song and realized that it was not Merle Haggard. It was just channeling Merle Haggard. This is a song called Daddy Played Guitar. Best Merle Haggard. Daddy played guitar. He played it all the time. Mama sang along, writing verse, writing rhyme. Pencil to paper, fingers to strings, the story they told mean everything to me. When Daddy played guitar, played it all the time. Well, it was a simpler way then. We lived the country way. School and fishing, made for fun most every day. Tom Sawyer, bait on hooks, rowboats, reading books. A simpler way then. We lived the country way. They say blood runs thicker than water. The fruit don't fall far from the tree. One thing I know for sure is they're both a part of me. What seems like yesterday, but it was long ago. Times are different. It'll never be the same, I know. I play the guitar, I write some rhymes, I remember their stories, I remember the times when Daddy played guitar and Mama sang along. Daddy played guitar, played it all the time. Thank you.
And, we didn't do a mic check yet. And let's give Mark Wood a hand. Thank you, Mark. Woo. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Alice Reid, and I'm spiritual director here at Centers for Spiritual Living, and I am so happy to be here at the Baha'i Center. We want to thank the Baha'i Center for hosting us here, and I want to say that the venue is lovely and wonderful, and we really appreciate it, and don't get too comfortable. Because at some point, we will be moving on. We'll be finding our right and perfect home. But for now, this is home. This is our home away from home, and we're really grateful to be here. And so let me wish a happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the room. Happy Father's Day. And I want to wish a happy Father's Day to all of you who had fathers. Happy Father's Day. And so I think that's inclusive, don't you? Yep, absolutely. We have this beautiful annual theme of rising higher and growing deeper. And our monthly theme is In Living Color. And in the month of June, there are so many things that really represent this beautiful idea of in living color. In the month of June, we have Juneteenth, which is the celebration of African American freedom in this country. You may not know the little story behind Juneteenth. It's actually a really big story, but I'm going to keep it short, so that's why it's little. On June 19th of 1865, the last township in the U.S. that had not freed their slaves learned that they were free, even though the Emancipation Proclamation happened 2.5 years earlier. And so it is this celebration of freedom for our African American brothers and sisters, siblings, if you will. And so Juneteenth happens this month. It's Pride Month, and so this is the opportunity for our friends who are LGBTQ2+ to celebrate their own individuation of God in their form, and so we celebrate Pride. It's also, you may not know this, but in June, did you know that it's also National Age Without Apology Month? And it's also National Candy Month. How about that? This idea of celebrating diversity, from dads to seniors to candies to African Americans, really speaks to this topic of in living color. And yet sometimes folks who are students and practitioners of this philosophy that we call Centers for Spiritual Living and Science of Mind wonder, and we have these questions about how do we celebrate diversity and still claim to be a movement that proclaims oneness, right? Do they clash? Do they not connect in some way? They seem contradictory, don't you agree? On the surface, just on the surface. And so this month, we're really focusing in this idea of living in living color, where we're celebrating diversity in so many ways. We're also asking the question, how can we focus on our differences and still claim to hold this idea that all life is one? And so I want to start with a wonderful quote from Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind, page 417, if you're interested, to assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into that more highly specialized use of the law which brings freedom rather than bondage. And so Holmes is referencing the power that we have to rise above mass consciousness, the generally accepted idea of whatever's going on in the world and in the culture. If you have been a student of this philosophy for any time, you understand that what we think and what we pay attention to actually draws things to us. There's a law of attraction and a law of circulation and a law of correspondence, and all three of these laws and principles work in a little bit of a different way, but to sum it up and to oversimplify it, we are attracting what we are believing. And so in a world where we are heavily influenced in what to believe, Holmes is talking about the power to rise above mass consciousness so that we can experience our individual uniqueness. And we don't do this to differentiate ourselves, just to say, look at me, like I talked about 2 weeks ago, but to celebrate our authentic expression as individuated centers of God in our own personal being. Each one of us, each one of you, is an individuated expression of the divine. And I say that a lot because our culture doesn't really reflect that to us, does it? It doesn't necessarily reflect to us that we're each unique expressions of God. No, the culture's typically, and you know, a lot of it's marketing, right? Because people are selling things. Our culture is trying to like steer us to different ideas, to different products, to different ways of being, to different ways of looking. And if whatever's in the mass consciousness isn't being reflected back to you as who you are, then you might feel a little outside of whatever you're recognizing and noticing in the mass consciousness. And so this idea of diversity is really about celebrating our authentic expression. And oftentimes, our authentic expression doesn't fit the label of the norm or whatever we've normalized in our culture. And it reminds me of this cute little story. Maybe you've heard about it, of the eagle in the chicken coop. There was a naturalist who was traveling the land, and he happened upon a farm, and he went in to visit a farmer and was looking over his land and his animals and his crops, and he noticed right there in the middle of the chickens, scratching and pecking, was an eagle. And he said, "What the heck is that? This is the most majestic of birds, a bird of prey, and here he is acting like a chicken. What's going on with that?" And the farmer explained that he had found an egg and he had put it into the chicken coop, and the egg had hatched, and it turned out to be an eagle, but the eagle was brought up as a chicken. It's all he knew was chickenness. And so he thought he was a chicken. And the naturalist was like, "He's an eagle." He says, "Do you mind if I work with him a little bit?" So the naturalist went in and he picked up the eagle and he said, "Eagle, you are the most majestic of birds. Fly to the heavens." And the eagle kind of looked around, looked at the guy, looked down at the safety of his buddies, hopped out of his hands and back in with the chickens, scratching and pecking and being a chicken. The naturalist tried a couple more times, and the eagle was just not having any of it. So the naturalist went on his way. But the next day he came back to the farmer's house, and he said, "I want to try one other thing. I would like to take the eagle out to his natural environment and see if that changes anything." So he took him out into the wild, and he showed the eagle the mountains and the sky and the area around him, and he said, "You are a grand bird of prey, and you belong in the heavens. Fly." And he let the bird go, and it flew into the sky to rediscover its true nature. And I love that story for our topic today, because sometimes we are eagles amongst chickens, right? We have traits or things that are important to us or ways of being that don't necessarily look like the people around us. We don't necessarily feel like we belong. There's some urging within us that says there's something in me that wants to be expressed. And so what this idea of diversity is really giving us this invitation to express our authenticity in beautiful and powerful and unique ways to each one of us. Unique ways to each one of us. Now, a sense of belonging is really important, right? It's been important to the maturation of civilizations, and it came about in a time when not belonging meant life or death. And we have held on to that sense of belonging for survival. But there comes a point where our need to belong can thwart us. It can limit us. And it's important to recognize that we can express ourselves in unique and authentic ways that might be different from the crowd and still shine and belong. And that's where our principle of oneness brings us back home. Because you may feel like you're too small or too tall or too large or too heavy or too thin. You might think you're too you have your skin color is you're too brown or you're too white. There's lots of different ways that you can differentiate yourself. But if you're putting that too in front of it, maybe too young or too old, right? If we're putting that word T-O-O, too, in front of it, it means we're not in a place of self-love and self-acceptance. And so when we step out into the world, knowing our oneness, our divinity, that we are all come from this amazing power that expresses itself in so many brilliant ways, and then really own what is ours to give, what is ours to express, and to just peel away those labels. There was a wonderful video that the Baha'is showed last week at their soul journey that really expressed this idea that somehow along the way we have gotten lost behind our labels. We have gotten lost behind our looking outward into and listening to the environment around us. I'll call it the chickenness, right? To reflect back to that story. We look out among the world and try to fit ourselves into a mold as opposed to starting right here where we are, tapping into our authentic nature and standing proud in who we came here to be. Now that can be a scary thing in our society. And there are people who have not felt appreciated. They have not felt welcome. They have not felt like they belong. And it's still happening today. But as a movement, and I'm going to call us a force of nature, if you will, we have the ability to be part of a world that works for all, a world that begins to really understand that diversity and differences are simply the way God is choosing to express itself, and that at the heart of all of that is our divinity. And I acknowledge that it's important for us to feel safe, but I think sometimes safety can be a place where we get stuck or start to really swim in the pool of our limitations. And so I have this other great quote from Ernest Holmes, and it was actually in the Science of Mind magazine this month, which you can find out on the table there. If you're not reading this, there's great articles and wonderful daily readings. And so the quote for today, I thought fit perfectly. And so Holmes in The Anatomy of Healing Prayer writes, "Everything that is of the nature of limitation is but the limitless flow, flowing through us at the level of our acceptance of life." I'm going to say that again. Everything that is the nature of limitation is but the limitless flow, flowing through us at the level of our acceptance of life. He goes on to say, therefore, we are not fighting the evil with the good. We're not combating hate with love, nor fear with faith. This is not a process of healing, but a revelation of the healed, the whole, the complete, and the perfect. We are merely establishing at a higher level the action of that which is eternal and perfect. And so Holmes is talking about that our healing is really expressing ourselves at an authentic level, and that we're not battling things that are different. No, not at all. We are simply aligning with the wholeness that already exists within each one of us. Right? It's about alignment. It's not about fighting. And we have a lot of differences and discord out there, people who feel differently about things, and we're focusing on the differences opposed to finding the connecting point. And I'm with many of you, it's not easy for me to think about the things that I value and that are important to me, and then to hear somebody talk about them in a way that feels like it doesn't support that. And how to embrace that, and how to move forward, and how to come to that place of remembering this key principle that the divinity in all life individuates itself in authentic ways. And so our work as religious scientists, as practitioners of this philosophy, is to really lean into the places where we may have some judgments and to look at how we can elevate those judgments to discernments and maybe elevate those discernments so that we can begin to appreciate our differences and appreciate the places where we don't see eye to eye. I, for one, use it as a spiritual practice. For me, it's a spiritual practice when I am triggered, when there's something that I don't agree with, I use it as a spiritual practice to see if I'm stuck in an echo chamber. Am I really attached to a certain idea? Is there some place where I'm not seeing things from a different perspective? And none of that requires that I abandon my values. They just require me to be curious and to understand that this divine nature of life expresses itself in a lot of different ways. And some I understand and appreciate and embrace, and in some I just sort of like, really? But I can do that from a place of love and appreciation. I remember, I think it was early on in my practitioner days, I was taught that I didn't have to like everybody, but I had to love you. I had to find a place to love you, even if I didn't like you. And it is in that place of finding the ability to love life, no matter how it shows up, that we begin to walk these principles out into the world and we begin to generate more peace. I know this is a tall order. I get it. I'm right there with you shoulder to shoulder. But it's necessary. We're hurting each other. We're rejecting each other wholesale. In order for us to really realize this beautiful vision of a world that works for all, we have to look through the lens of love. I had a story for you, but I guess I'll save that for next week. I will share this one quote with you that I think is profound from that story. When nothing disturbs the balance of nature, the natural order reveals itself in perfect harmony. When nothing disturbs the balance of nature, the natural order reveals itself in perfect harmony. And when I read that quote, it made so much sense to me. It's about surrendering my egoic ideas and paying attention to what's going on around me and trying to find a place where I can look through the lens of love and step out in some kind of harmonious way, even when I feel agitated inside. Holmes' quote about the limitless flow of the divine that's flowing through us at a level of our acceptance of life will begin to expand when we recognize that whatever we see is temporary. Whatever we're experiencing is a temporary projection from our acceptance of life. And so when we can allow ourselves to expand our level of acceptance, when we can be willing to do that, notice I didn't say acquiescence, very different from acceptance. But when we can find a level of acceptance, all this stuff that's going on, it's temporary, people. What is eternal is the divinity that lives in each one of us, that divines itself, that expresses itself uniquely and individuated in each one of us. I don't have to live life like someone else. I get to live my life from an authentic place, and everybody else gets to do the same thing. That's a high and noble principle that we can hold that gives us the ability to look at diversity through the lens of oneness and reconcile those two ideas as we move through our week. So my invitation to you is to be curious, to press into those places where you feel triggered or you can notice yourself judging, to look for where you can, rather than tap into the comforts of old ways of thinking, that maybe there's a new idea that wants to come forward for you. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know the answer. I do know the process. So I trust the process, and I invite you to do the same. Thank you very much. So let's do what we do every Sunday. We pray. We pray. We do this thing called spiritual mind treatment. We allow ourselves to drop down into that power and the presence that lives within us, that one immutable and divine presence that always has its way with us. So to this morning and this week, I invite us to simply surrender, to expand our level of acceptance, to be willing to look beyond what we think we know to what may want to be known. And I trust that when we do this, embraced by the love of the divine, as our unique and beautiful and authentic expression, looking out through love at other unique and authentic expressions, that something new comes forward, some opportunity, some potentiality, some possibility that only the eyes of love could have seen. And so this is a grand invitation to be in love with the divine, to see it despite its disguise, to recognize the power of oneness that shines through diversity, and to know that we are not bound by our past, but instead we can step into this place of being willing to have a new idea, a new thought, a new expression, to love ourselves and each other with equal measure, so that God may love itself here on earth. What a beautiful idea. I invite each one to embody this, to embrace this, to know this as their truth as we move through our time here, albeit brief, on planet Earth. It is with love that I simply anchor this prayer. I know this highest truth, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you. I want to invite our wonderful soloist to come back up. Mark Wood, let's give him a big hand.
Well, that was wonderful. So, I was trying to think about, it's Father's Day. I'm a father, and I know there's a lot of fathers out there. This song I wrote for my father, and he left us back in 1991. And as a songwriter, I wanted to write a song about my dad, and it was probably about he passed away in October. It was in January, and I was up at a big party in Hollywood with some friends of mine, and it was a Super Bowl party. And all of a sudden, I was thinking, as I'm looking down at downtown LA, I'm thinking the lights are out there, and I'm thinking, God, I haven't had a chance to grieve, and I lost it. I lost it so much that everybody left the party, and I'm out there, and me and my buddy got in his beautiful redwood hot tub, and we're looking out at L.A., and I started having some real perspective on my dad, and I wrote this song. So this goes out to everybody's dad, whether he's here or whether he's not. The love for your father is hard to explain, 'cause it's filled with mixed emotions. There were times when his lessons fell on deaf ears. In the end, their importance you could hear. What you gonna do now that he's gone? Sure his memory will help you stay strong. The wisdom he gave you is yours to pass on. That's what he'd want you to do now that he's gone. The love for your husband is hard to explain. It's like a jewel with many facets. He's your partner, your lover, a companion, a friend, a lifelong commitment to the end. What are you gonna do now that he's gone? A lifetime of memories will help you stay strong. But don't live in the past, 'cause mama, your life goes on. That's what he'd want you to do now that he's gone. Nobody said it'd be easy. Nobody thought it would be. You gotta know that he's held by the hands of the Lord. Believing's what's left for you and me. Now as I ponder these questions here before me, I can't help but wonder, if my little girl, the cutest you'd ever saw, will hold a few memories of her grandpa. What am I gonna do now that you're gone? I'll make sure your memory always stays strong. If she needs me, I'll always be there like you were for me. Your memory lives on. Daddy, now that you're gone. Thank you. And once again, please give this band a hand. Thank you so much.
Oh, you made me cry. Let's give him another hand. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. And of course, that fabulous guys here that are band with us every week. Thank you so much. They're under there. Keep looking. There they are. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I wipe my tears away, that song. It was beautiful. Okay, now, will the stewards please come forward? It's time for our conscious, committed giving. You know, we give back where we have been spiritually fed, and I'll tell you, Mark and our band and Dr. Alice, our songbirds, we have been fed What a banquet today. So thank you, each and every one. So let us say our affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply. Thank you. Thank you.
There is a light within me. There is a light within me. There is a light within me. Illuminate me, illuminate me. There is a love within me. There's a love within me. There is a love within me. Illuminate me, illuminate me. There is a joy within me. There is a joy within me. There is a joy within me. Illuminate me, illuminate me. There is a peace within me. There is a peace within me. There is a peace within me. Illuminate me, illuminate me.
We bless this collective offering and receive it with gratitude, knowing it is spirit in action. This currency flows through our center and beyond. It blesses many lives, including our own, and so it is. Thank you. I met a beautiful lady this morning that used to go to our center when we were in San Juan 25 years ago, and I want to welcome Natalie back into the fold. I see. Yeah, so she said, I said, well, I was back there then too, you know. So she's a friend of Barbara's, and it was wonderful. It's wonderful to see you here again. And if you're here for the very first time, we welcome you. We're happy that you came. We'd like you to sign our guest book so that we can get your email and send you updates and what's going on at our center. And if you're here for the first time, if you want to raise your hand, we'll welcome you. Give you, yes. And that's Gary. Yes, I remembered. You're Gary, I'm Judy, right? Okay. Yes, welcome, Gary. Yes. We had a little exchange earlier today. I couldn't remember my own name, so. Well, you know, that happens sometimes. And we have practitioners, and Dr. Alice talked about what a practitioner was today. I loved your talk about the difference or the sameness of diversity and oneness. It just was really made it clear for me. So thank you again. That was wonderful, wonderful talk. Practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer. And what we do is we act as if until it produces in our life. We act as if it's already happened. I remember when I was going through a prosperity class, and we had to say, I am prosperous 200 times a day. I didn't feel prosperous, but boy, I'll tell you, after a month of that, I was so prosperous. So, I mean, so your affirmations mean something, your prayers mean something. So we have 3 practitioners today, Paula Manis, Barbara Charney, and Jill Burnett, and they're all available to you for prayer after the service in the back of the sanctuary, auditorium, we call it, yes. Sanctuary to me, it feels like a sanctuary. Bonnie has been holding the consciousness all through this service. She's been holding a high watch. And the high watch is, she's been praying for all of us this whole time. The whole time we've been sitting here, we've had prayers flowing through us, on us, and through us from Bonnie, knowing that we are opening our heart, opening our mind to receive all the message, the music, all the goodness that we have, and all the blessings we have here today. Okay, so now it's time for our invitations from Dr. Alice.
I'm so tall. I have an ad hoc announcement. I noticed there's a handful of magazines still available. Discounted price, $5. So if you want a magazine, help yourself. There's great articles, even though there's only a half a month left in a 2-month issue of daily affirmations. The articles are worth that $5 in and of themselves. So you want to snap up a magazine for sure. I want to let you know that Conscious Connections will gather in the lobby behind this room at about 12 noon today, and that Conscious Connections is an opportunity for you to think and talk and consider some of the things you heard this morning and what's going on for you, and share those ideas with others. I'd also like to thank those with last names that ended in starts in L and goes through R. Goes through R. And next week, those with last names that start with S and go through Z, those individuals are invited to bring snacks for our hospitality. I want to thank you all for participating in our cooperative hospitality. That is great. Now, as you know, we've been here. Sorry? The sign was next week and Oh, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's S through Z who's bringing it next week. And who's the people who brought snacks today? Did your last name end with L through? Yeah, good. So we're right. It was just a slide that wasn't updated. Sorry about that. And speaking of slides, we are going to simplify things a little bit here. Our tech team and Sunday production team met, and we're doing our own little R&D here, and research and development, trying to figure out the best way to be in this temporary digs. And so next week, I want you to look for some handouts. We're going to eliminate the slides, see how that works, and we're going to go back to some good old-fashioned handouts and practice that for a little while. And a lot of that has to do with wanting to create a really solid experience for our live stream audience, and having 3 or 4 bodies in the media production space is not working. So we're going to try to simplify things, and I appreciate you all working with us. We might bring them back. We'll see. I thought the raising of the screen worked really well today. We're just, thanks for hanging with us, and we'll find the right recipe as we go. We have a lot of things that are happening on every week, all summer long. There's something happening at the center. Those of you who enjoy yoga can join us at our San Juan location for yoga, either Monday night or Tuesday morning, with our yoga instructor, Mike Ward. Give us a wave, Mike. Thank you. It's a great opportunity, and it's gentle yoga, so check it out. Also, we have Shifting Sands that meets on Thursday at the center in San Juan. That's 10:30 to 12:30. It's a great opportunity to share wisdom with one another. Coming Home, Awakening to Spirit on Zoom Friday at 8 a.m., facilitated by Joyce Fournier. Thank you, Joyce. I know you're watching. We appreciate your service, even from the East Coast. How about that? All of the activities that are happening at the center are available on our website. You can find them in the little brochure as you walk out the door here, or in our bi-weekly newsletter. Thanks again for coming this morning. And so now it's time to invite our songbirds back to lead us in a closing song. Woo.
All right, you guys ready to sing our closing song? Let's stand.
just right here, right now. That's all there is, right here and now. Just the here and now, living for today. Just right here, right now. That's all there is, right here and now. Just the here and now, living for today. Just right here, right now. That's all there is, right here and now. Just the here and now, living for today. Living for today. Living for today.
So, know with me now, today is the first day of the rest of your life, and so it is.
And so it is.